Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Hey, Radio Bypass. We're here today with another great guest, another band to get you familiar with, if you're not already, and learn a little bit about their story. Joining us is drummer JJ Garcia from the band Katfish. How you doing, JJ?
Good. How's it going, man? How's it going with you?
Very good. Having a good day. Welcome to Radio Bypass.
Yeah, pretty good. Things have been, keeping busy and stuff. Thank you for having me. Thank you for making the time. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support of the single. I greatly appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, great job on the song, which we'll get into. But first, tell us a little bit about Katfish. I know you've been together a while. You're new to my ears with the single that we're going to talk about. But tell us a little bit about the history of the band.
Well, Katfish started, I've been in the band maybe close to 4 years. So myself and Lee Bourne, who's the bass player, we're the newbies, if you will. But we've known these guys for a long time. But Katfish started out as an acoustic duo almost in 2000. And it's a funny story. I hope I get it right. The guys have explained it to me, but usually we've had a few beers. So, but, when they met, they knew each other from school and stuff like that. They went to high school. They're from Barstow, California. They played high school sports, excelled in that, did really well, very popular. Everyone knew them. And then I think from what I understand is they loved playing a lot of the outlaw country, Southern rock stuff. They would play guitars together. And I think they went to a bar one night or one day and were drinking, and they like, we can do that, whatever those guys are doing over there. So I think it was the bartender like, well, if you want to do it, why don't you guys want to book a show? And they're like, we'll do it. And then I think from what I understand, if the story serves me correctly, they sobered up about a day or two later, and they called him saying, okay, well, we got you on the calendar. You're going to be playing in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is. Like, what? Like, yeah, you booked a show. I'm like, oh, man. So they
followed through. Learn some songs.
Yeah, so they followed through, and they already knew a bunch of songs, but they needed a name, and I think it was somebody that worked with Dusty that, and they're like, hey, man, we need a name for our band. We're going to be doing a show pretty soon, or some guy randomly said, oh, do Katfish, like sounds Southern, but it's spelled with a K. And like, okay, so there you go. And they did a show. Funny thing is, I think they had to go buy a PA. They didn't have a PA. They had to use, I think, Tommy, the guitar player, Tommy Shoemaker. They had to go borrow his mom's TV trays to put the speakers on. And they put a monitor in front of them, and they told everybody, but it was a packed house. And it was a great night, and everyone came out, and they're like, okay, we can do this. So they started doing shows around the high desert region, but they didn't do a lot of shows. So they became pretty popular by seldomly playing. Like, they didn't oversaturate the market. They were smart about it.
Right.
And they did the stuff that they wanted to do. They did stuff that appealed to them, what they grew up on, Waylon Jennings, Paul Haggard, Hank Williams Jr., Leonard Skinner, all that type of stuff. There's several bands. I mean, we do a ton of covers during the shows and stuff, and we pick a whole bunch of stuff out. Social Distortion, all that. We even do a Milli Vanilli cover that, I don't know, maybe we'll record it, but it comes out
That's
great.
A pretty wide range already of just the things you're naming.
Well, we keep it fun. And, I've been in this business for a long time as a touring musician, working in the industry. So when my last band, unfortunately, we suffered a loss. Our guitar player passed away when we decided, to go our separate ways. But, he was an intricate part of it. So it was a big blow to us. And I'm like, I think that is done. I sat in, I did studio stuff, but, I put a lot of time into the other band I was playing in called Judge Jackson.
I was just going to ask you if it was that, because as I was trying to get a little bit familiar with your career, I checked out that Picking Me Up song. It was really good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was hard, but see, Tommy and Lee and a lot of our friends in Barstow, they knew of us because Tommy's band used to open for us, and he would let us crash at his house, and we toured quite a bit. But I wasn't really looking to get in a band. I was doing stuff with other people, but I wasn't really looking. And Tommy called me and was, look, man, I'm playing with this singer. You met him, Dusty. He's great. And I'm like, and they played a show, and I was like, this guy's amazing. Like, I'm not like amazing just as a person, but a singer. Like, he really embodied that spirit. And then they said, well, do you want to play a couple shows with us? And we did. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, we played pretty much any place that would have us, because there was so many restrictions in Los Angeles, ton of restrictions in Vegas. Like, it shut a lot of people down.
Sure.
But we were playing, good sized rooms. Like, hey, we got a call from this place in Pahrump, Nevada, Topac, Arizona. We were playing in Allendale, California, all those places that you really have to look for. But people showed up, and we're like, we took our precautions, and we did whatever we did, and we played. And everywhere, any place that had electricity, like, all right, cool, that made sense. And we did it, and we honed our chops that year by playing off the beaten track, and we worked on new songs, and we first at Dusty's and Tommy's house from time to time. And that's the thing too, is that we live separate. Like, I live in the Fraser Park area. Dusty lives in Topac, Arizona. Tommy lives in Helendale, just outside of Barstow in Victorville. And Lee lives in Victorville, California. So we're, Tommy and Lee actually live the closest together.
Right.
But it's but we get together at shows. Dusty will send us songs. We're working on them at home. We get there early enough. We'll go through them at sound check, and then we'll give it a try, and we go for it. And we played some. What was the place? I noticed the song "Crazy" when we were playing it. Everyone appealed to that a little bit more than some of the others. But definitely when we were playing the Old Town Saloon in Laughlin, I really noticed that. Like, oh, sorry, give me a moment here. Sorry, it got dark here for a second.
I was going to say, the PG&E shut off the power. What's going on?
Yeah. So it's funny. But yeah, I noticed at that gig, man, the song is great. So when we recorded stuff, I really, Dusty didn't record a lot, but he embraced it, and we just went for it. We recorded a bunch of songs in the studio. A lot of stuff was first and second takes, and we did different covers of different things, but "Crazy" was one of them. It just seemed like some of those songs were coming across well live. And then when it was time to, like, let's release a single, because we're going to probably release an EP next year. So I don't know when. We have songs picked out for it. We're going to work on some original songs as well. We're hoping to get it out late spring next year, maybe early summer. But this will be on there. But a good friend of ours, Stevie D, who is mostly known for being in the band Buck Cherry. And
before you get into all that, because we didn't really we didn't talk about the single yet. So that,
okay,
guys, this is what we're JJ and I were getting together to talk about primarily, is the single "Crazy" that he's referencing now. You may have heard it on the music show a few weeks back. You'll hear it again at the end of our chat here. Really cool song. I was telling JJ, being, that music's a little out of my scope of what I'm normally listening to. I hadn't been familiar with it, so I just knew it was a really good song, really well done by Katfish. Learned it was someone else's song originally. Probably the only one in the dark about that song, because it seemed like everyone in my world knew about it. But I fell in love with it because of these guys. Just a super cool version. And yes, I thought it was interesting that Stevie from Buck Cherry was involved. So now please tell us the story.
Okay. All right. Then, so with Stevie and I, he's actually, I manage a couple different artists, and he's been working with an artist called Gen Z that he's been co-writing songs with. And Stevie's co-written with a lot of people, and he's a, great guy, tremendous producer, tremendous songwriter, other than being a fantastic guitar player. And it was great because I basically said, look, I need we need a solo on this. We want to clean it up, and we recorded it. So he played the B3. He played some rhythm acoustic. He does the acoustic solo on it in the outro, and did a fantastic job. I mean, and co-produced it. We were really excited when we got it back and listened to it. Like there wasn't too many recalls. We were like, oh no, we're like, hey man, we actually sound pretty amazing.
It truly does. It's got great sound. The sound quality is good. The production's good.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you, and I don't mean it condescending. It's just like he took it and took it to another level where we didn't think about. So as a producer and a songwriter, he's like, well, look, I'm gonna, what if we do this or what if we do that? And it came out great, and we were very happy with it. And we've been getting a lot of play from it, your show included. So we were really stoked about it, and we're hoping to do more with them in the future.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Because when I saw he was involved, I was expecting a different, again, because I wasn't familiar with the song, I was expecting it to sound a little different than it does. But man, it just caught my ear. I'm like, I ended up listening to it twice in a row when I first got it, and I was like, dang, this is really good. But also a little different than what I would expect from Buck Cherry, obviously.
Right.
But then when I saw that he was the producer as well, or I guess co-producer, I was really impressed with the sound too, because I hear a lot of modern mixes that I'm not overly crazy about, and this had more the type of mix that I like to hear. It was just really good.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, yeah, thank you very much.
Your singer is killing on it.
Yeah, Dusty is fantastic. He's kind of he's an anomaly in some ways. I've never heard of him until I met him. Ironically, I was booking an event out here in Fraser Park called Fiesta Days, and I booked Katfish as a duo, and it rained. So I called the guys. I go, look, we're going to try to fix the tent. We're going to do this. You guys could still come out. And people around here from this, even to this day, have mentioned like Katfish pulled up, Tommy and Dusty. And I go, look, if you get here, I'll still pay you, because if we can get this thing happening, you guys are going to play. And that would have been my first time seeing them. And that was probably 7 or 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. But the funny thing is they came with a bunch of people following. So it wasn't like them just showing up ready to play. I'm like, people at the organization were like, who's this? And there's like a van load of people and 5 other cars following. And I'm like, that's that band Katfish. But they never got to play because it rained so hard, it ripped the tent where we were at. Like,
I was hoping the story was going to go, they came and the sun came out.
Now, unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I later got to see Dusty in his element. He's a no BS guy. Like he tells it as it is, but he plays what he likes to play. Everything in his wheelhouse that has shaped him as a musician and as a singer. I mean, we'll throw covers in to throw people off. We'll throw covers in that he grew up listening to. Same with Tommy and myself and Lee. So the thing is that we try to have fun with it. I mean, we all know there's a business side of it. I do a lot of that, and so does Dusty. But and Tommy as well. But the thing is that we like, look, let's not. We're not going to kill ourselves to make sure we do 100 gigs a year or whatever. If it makes sense, we'll play the gig. We got some gigs coming up that we're going to hopefully start announcing pretty soon. Part of the we already got one booked, and it's going to be part of what they call the Southern Rock Thunder Tour, and it's with 2 other tribute bands, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, which is a ZZ Top tribute.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and then Skinner Rising, which is a Skinner tribute out of SoCal. Great bands, great guys. And we already got a couple dates booked with them, and we're going to hopefully announce more pretty soon. So that everyone can just check our Facebook page and our Instagram page for the info.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think I saw one date's coming up in November in Arizona. I think I saw.
Yeah, that Lake Havasu. Yeah, that was a last minute one. We're going to do that one. We're actually going to get there at Dusty's house. Maybe we can convince him to do barbecue because he's an amazing cook as well. And then we'll practice, and then we'll do like a band meeting because we're all together. And then we'll do the show the next day, and then we'll head on out and then start gearing up for next year.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned, like a tribute, ZZ Top tribute, Skinner tribute. So you've got Southern rock bands, like Molly Hatchet and Iron Maiden, or not Iron Maiden, the Outlaws, bands like that. But you mentioned also some of their influences being Merle Haggard and all that. So when people come to see Katfish live, the Katfish of right now, today, is it a little bit of a mix? Is it some like what we consider kind of the harder country rock, like an Outlaws or a Skinner or something, and some like traditional country? I mean, what would people be hearing at a Katfish show as far as?
It varies. It's pretty much Dusty's call. We'll get a set list a couple days before so we can let it marinate, practice those songs. Anything from Waylon Jennings to Hank Williams Jr., like I mentioned. We've done some other stuff like Social Distortion. We've done Skinner. All these little things, and it varies. We'll throw in a Chris Stapleton cut. We'll do something, and we'll do album cuts too. I mean, we'll do some popular songs. So and it's primarily a lot of covers, but it's also just kind of a tribute to all that older stuff that you don't hear a lot. And we do it in a different form. So it's not just like a cover band coming up and doing it. We have, a really good feel of how we present the songs. We mess with the arrangement just a little bit, but the delivery
stamp on it.
Yeah. And the delivery is pretty much, is based on, how Dusty wants the song to come out and stuff like that. But as a drummer, for me, some of that older stuff is in 3/4, time signature. It has a swing to it. So it's really taught me some other stuff, pulling back a little bit more musically and not overwhelming, like we're not pile driving through it. We're, and doesn't say, yeah, pull back a little bit, or, let's simplify this and really hear the story of some of these old songs that we play.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, yeah, that's important, for the drummer position, because there are a lot of guys that don't leave any space, and you got to leave some space.
Yeah, I think in these situations, like I learned from playing in blues. I played in a band called Stone that was a blues rock band. I got to do some shows with Ultra Trout a long time ago. That was kind of like a live, audition. I didn't get the gig, but I got to do some shows with them. And that taught me a lot about pulling back and playing in the pocket more. I still take lessons to this day just to refine a lot of that stuff and try to keep that up because, it's, you could never, you could always use that in your arsenal play. I mean, instead of, just piling through it and stuff like that, we try to bring a lot to these songs.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to do, bring an element that people will enjoy it and go, oh, yeah, I know that. Like, again, like with Crazy, we change it up a little bit. It's not like in its pop format, if you will. And there's other songs that we do that are similar. We just change it a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, I think that's really cool. Hopefully you'll get enough shows booked and get something in my area because I can come check you guys out.
I'll let you know, man. We're hoping to come out to the Midwest sometime. Maybe do like a couple dates either on that tour or ourselves. I know we're booking. We're already talking about going back to Sturgis. We've went there a couple times already. Always had a great time playing there. We've been basically in the Southwest region around here, but we're getting offers already. So it's a matter of just making the time. And if it makes sense, touring is, and you go out there, you got to make sense of it financially for everybody. And we all have regular gigs, I mean, it's not like we're sitting around on a tour bus waiting for someone to call. We're, if we're not doing one thing to pay the bills, we're doing another. So.
Right. It looks like for you, all kinds of music stuff. I see you've done some movie music, some TV music. So it seems like, which, again, as a drummer, maybe a little bit unusual, right? It seems like it's usually guitar players, piano players, stuff like that. But you get a few credits of your own with TV and stuff.
Yeah, I've been pretty blessed. I've gotten great opportunities. Man, I mean, it's funny because with Judge Jackson and other bands and playing studio stuff for other people, we've had a lot of things that were synced and licensed and stuff like that. So that's always great to hear, when you hear an old program and stuff like that, or see something on NASCAR and like, that's me playing drums. It's awesome. And that never gets old. Hearing yourself on the radio, I mean, that never gets old. I mean, it's tremendous. And it's, I think I always make a joke of it. Tommy always reminds me because, I and Judge Jackson, we had a few songs that were played in the Super Bowl several years back.
Nice.
I forgot which one it was, but being a huge Bears fan, okay, it was the year that the Packers won, so it was bittersweet. So yes, I did get to hear 3 songs during the Super Bowl that I played on, but unfortunately, the Packers won the Super Bowl. So I'm still going to therapy for it, but I'll get through it.
Well, I'm proud of you being originally from the Midwest, but being out in California for a long time, that you still held on to your love of the Bears.
Yes.
I'm the same way, 3 or almost 4 years now in California, but I still am always a Chicago guy,
Yeah. Oh, man, I miss, I haven't been to the new Soldier Field. I have never been to the new Comiskey Park or whatever they're calling it these days.
Right.
But I stay, I've been in California. I have a ton of California friends. I've worked in California and, in the industry, of course, and stuff. And that's great. But I got buddies out there. I'm wearing one of my buddies' hats right now from the Cicero Barrel Company. Shout out to Rick Holder and his family.
Hey, Rick.
Great guys. Yeah, Rick, I went to high school with Rick. He's got a tremendous company that's in Cicero, I think, Indiana. And then he's got a office in Nashville. So, check them out for all your barrel wares. Anyways, a little plug. But yeah, I mean, man, the White Sox and the Bears have been a part of my DNA, and the Cubs. I got a lot of friends that are Cubs. Unfortunately, there are a couple friends from Indiana that are Packers fans, but I try not to hold them against
it. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, before we wrap up, you mentioned social media. Is it Katfish Music? Is that your handle on social media?
Well, yeah, Katfish _ acoustic for the Instagram page, and then at Facebook it's Katfish Music. You'll see our giant mugs on there if you pull us up, and then it gives you all the information, upcoming shows, music. New music we'll be announcing soon. New shows will be announcing soon. So I hope everyone gets a chance to check it out.
Awesome. And anything else we should know about the band?
Other than that, you just please, support live music. I can't tell people enough of that. I mean, it's the lifeblood that keeps things going. I mean, with all this other stuff and streaming in the world and supporting music, any genre is great. But, just get out there and see live music.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it. All right. Well, JJ, I appreciate you coming by Radio Bypass.
Thank you for having me, man. And thank you for your support. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Good music's good music. Like I told you, a little out of my wheelhouse, but that song, oh my God. So I can't wait to hear more from you guys. So everybody, this is JJ Garcia. The band is Katfish with a K, Katfish. And stick around right now. We're going to play the song we've been talking about, Crazy. Thanks again, JJ.
All right. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate it. Take care, man.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that fate. Even your emotions had an echo, so much space. Yeah, I was out of touch, but it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. That make me crazy. That make me crazy. That make me crazy. Probably. And I hope that you were having the time of your life. Overthink twice. It's my only advice. Come on now. Who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul. Do you really think that you are in control? Well, I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me. My heroes had the heart to live their lives out on me, yeah. All I remember is thinking I wanna be like them. Ever since I was little, it looked like it's no coincidence that I come